Good afternoon. Welcome to Belgrade to the quarterfinal day. FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019, and it's the game between Russia and Spain. Well, are we seeing a comeback to the big time by Russia, or are we going to see another great FIBA Women's EuroBasket for this Spanish team, which has been one of the big teams in international basketball now for the past, well, for more than a decade. Of course, these two teams have met so many times in big games in the past. Who could forget, for example, 2007 in Chieti, Italy, when they played in the final and Russia won that thriller. Already today, the quarterfinal action has been utterly sensational. Great Britain holding on for a 62-59 win over Hungary. After this game, we'll have France and Belgium, and then we'll be finishing things off with a clash between Serbia and Sweden. And I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Shona Thorburn, who used to play in big games like this herself for Canada's national team, and obviously professionally in France, has played for so many years, and also Spain. Shona, you know a lot of these players, and this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it is, and you know, we just experienced a great one that came down to the wire, and I think this is another game that there's a lot of history between these two teams. You know, it has tapered up a little bit on the Russian side in the last few years, but if you go back and look at their heads-to-heads, I mean, it's absolutely incredible at major tournaments. And everyone knows the Spanish team, but there's a lot of new faces on the Spanish team as well, and you know, and some faces missing as well in Alba Torrens. So, you know, I would say maybe it's not the strongest team that they've put together in the last few years. And this Russian team are kind of a little, I don't want to say they're unknown because their superstars have already made themselves known, but they are a little inexperienced as far as playing at this level compared to such an experienced Spanish side. But that being said, they don't have the bullseye on their back like Spain do, the defending champions. Russia really have nothing to lose, and they have a superstar in Maria Vadeva. So it'll be interesting.
Well, certainly if Russia was short on experience, it didn't bother them. They played the other night. Took Italy's best shot. Italy played about as well as they played in this entire EuroBasket. They weathered the storm and they came back and won. But for Spain, they hosted the FIBA Women's Basketball World Championship World Cup last year in Tenerife. We were there, we watched them. They weren't at their best, but they still were able to get to the podium and finish third. And that was a testament really to quality, because they had a lot of injury issues and a lot of adversity to face. They've come back, and they haven't been at their best at this EuroBasket, but nevertheless, I think a lot of people probably believe, you know what, Lucas Mandela is holding a few things back, something special, and maybe we're going to see him unleash it today against this Russia national team that's been pretty impressive themselves. Anyway, we're going to have a pause in the commentary and the playing of the national anthems, Spain and Russia. the players meet at midcourt, shake hands. They know each other well. Obviously, some of them have been teammates over the years for various club sides. They've obviously gone up against each other in international basketball as well. See the referees coming up. Laura Nichols there, who's certainly been some big names. This is Laura Gill. And perhaps without Alba Turin's in this team this summer, she's taking the summer off. Their importance is even greater. Also, the Alman from Turkey, Radimir Bojanovic from Montenegro, and Thomas Visuel from France is the referee crew. And good job again. I think we're like a good luck charm. All this refereeing was great. In fact, Manish has been great here at the start of the quarterfinals. And we'll look at the rosters and the teams. Some key players here coming up, showing up for Russia. Talked about Maria Badeva, but also you had Shilova, who hit some big shots the other night. Anastasia Shilova, number 10. And Natalia Vieru was just terrific, doing a lot of the dirty work against that Italian team. The starting five will be Badeva, Fedorenko, Shilova, Vieru, and Elena Peglova. So they know that they've got a shot to play for a top 6 finish. The Olympics qualifying tournament, rather. And a big part of that, obviously, is Maria Badeva averaging 17 points, shooting 51% from the floor, grabbing 9 rebounds. But you also really appreciate, I think, the overall contributions of some of these other players, like Vieru. And that last one from Spain, it's a different than Spain, isn't it? But certain Maya Palau still around.
Yeah, Laya Palau sticks out right there. She's the leader of this team. But there are names that we still remember. Laura Nichols, Marta Chargai, who had a great game so far in this tournament. You have Anna Cruz, Coral Casas, and Astu Endor. And here we'll see their starting lineup. Laura Nichols, Laya Palau, Marta Chargai, Anna Cruz, and Astu Endor. No surprise there. I mean, we've seen that lineup so many times with this Spanish team.
That's a very experienced team.
The only, there you have it, Astu Endor, who has been absolutely great for them. 14.7 points, shooting over 50% from the field, and grabbing 9.3 rebounds. Those are great numbers. I mean, the post play in this tournament, I think, has been maybe some of the best we've seen in recent years.
Long, we'll talk all about that.
Yeah.
He's got some good post players.
Vieru, Badeva, Musina, Olaflong, great CV.
Boganova's involved.
He has been around.
Terrific. He's been around for a long time. As has this chap.
Seguimos.
I don't think he could have really done much more, perhaps, other than win the world title or Olympic gold medal, because he's been there for all the good times.
He really has. Yeah,
Since that setback in 2011 in FIBA Women's EuroBasket in Poland.
And they missed out on the Olympics in 2012, then he took over in 13. And basically, Spain has been a country that people are afraid to play because they are one of the best in the world, and for good reason. And Coach Mondello is a big part of that, and his staff. It's not, obviously, I think a head coach is almost just as good as they can be, depending on their assistant coaches. So both these benches are stacked as far as coaching experience, and it shows in their play.
The 11th encounter between Spain and Russia in the FIBA Women's EuroBasket history is about to start. We're underway here in Belgrade, folks. Thanks for joining us for this second quarter final of the day. We've already seen Great Britain scale new heights by getting to their first ever semifinal, and now it's a battle between these two classic rivals, Spain and Russia, and Spain turned the ball over at the start. Okay, the level of excellence that we saw from Russia for so long, and then they kind of dropped off. The women's EuroBasket 2013 and trying to get back to the top, and they believe they're going to get there. And Vadeva, the right pass to Vieru, but she doesn't make the shot. And the pass up ahead to Cruz was a little bit behind her, but she was able to save it. Maya Palau, what did you say? 4 years of age, and honestly looks as good as ever. Drives in, misses that.
And you know, we thought she was going to retire in 2017. They were kind of throwing her up. She announced that it was her retirement. And sure enough, 2 years later, one of the best point guards to ever play the game is still representing her country.
A block. Has it been called on Nichols or Endure? And that's looks like maybe a tough call on Laura Nichols. Watch this. Well, she does have a full hand on her. I'll tell you what, if there's an edge that Nichols has over Vadeva, is she has won a lot of big games in her career, and has really been one of the unsung heroines of this Spanish team.
She, you know, statistically, maybe the thing she does doesn't really show up.
That was an air ball by Baklova, snatched by Cruz. Puts it up at the line, and Endure follows up the miss, and Spain on the board first. Foul. We got some real, I would go ahead and say, legends of the game here today watching courtside. You might see them right on the front row at some point. Andrei Kirilenko, the president of the Russian Basketball Federation, Jorge Garbajosa, the president of the Spanish Basketball Federation, Olga Ardashina, who played for so many great Russia teams. And there's Shalova, exactly what she did for Russia against Italy, hitting the big three.
You know, she was quiet early on in that game, but really, she's a big reason that they're playing in this game today, that qualification game for the quarterfinals. Her in the fourth quarter, she just took over.
The pass to Laura Nichols. Really, attached to the word underrated. Use that as an adjective for her because she just does so many things. This time, Vieru turns and scores, banks it in.
Yeah, you know, Laura Nichols is probably better known for her defense and her, I would say, passing ability on offense.
Jargai drills the three-pointer. A lot of people. Is that a 3 or a 2?
It's just a 2.
Okay.
That might have been on the line.
A lot of people looking for her to really step up this summer with Corinne's not playing. There's Vadeva. And again, as she goes into the lane, she kind of loses control. And now Cruz and Spain have it, and a foul called on Baklova.
And you know, don't forget the first game in this tournament, Marta Chargai had 31 points. So, like you said, you know, without having Torrens' scoring ability, they are going to rely on a Chargai and Cruz a little bit more.
Cruz, instead of going hard at Vadeva, kind of put up a sweeping right-handed layup, but missed. Shalova puts up another 3 attempt, and it's misses everything. Goes out of bounds, and Long says, "What was that?" I think he probably wants to see 1 or 2 more passes.
Yeah, I think Shalova's kind of arguing and looking at Laura Nichols. Hey, you touched that.
You know what's incredible, Shona? Maya Palau, who has the ball right now, played for Spain at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup back in 2002. Here she is. Now the pass to Endure. And Endure's fouled.
Yeah, I'm not sure in the media guide there's even enough room that's normally designated to players to give the, you know, a little bit of your rundown of your previous experience.
Okay, so Endure, okay, is going to the line, and so she was 8 years old when Maya Palau was
Maya made
playing
her
in
debut.
2002.
Yeah. that is called a long and very successful career.
Always had the promise, but Sancho Little took the naturalized spot for Spain for so long, and for good reason. She's one of the all-time greats for them. But now that Little's gone, we've really seen Endor not only take that spot, but take her game to new heights. She represented both. Thought she had a good Women's World Cup last year. Davis. Yakova passes to Baglova. Up with a high post is Vadeva being guarded by Jargai. She brings the ball down and has it taken away. And, once she does that, she's just as short as everybody else, or not quite as tall. They have not allowed her to be comfortable when she has the ball right inside that free throw line. She's going to go out, and Messina's going to come in.
Coach Lang and asked for a substitution, so
how unusual is that?
Something's going on, or she could just be frustrated with herself and knows herself well enough that she needs to
compose herself.
Yeah, a mental timeout. You do see here on your screen, she is talking to maybe the assistant coach. So yeah. So I think they were trying to discuss what the shot clock should be at.
Okay, let's see if we can listen in. We might be able to pick this up.
Three. 4.4. No, it was 3.8.
When you call. In the back.
Okay. 4.4.
Down.
Forward. No, opposite side. Forward. Yep.
No.
Stop.
3.8. 3.8. 3.8.
So they're going to put 3.8 seconds back on the shot clock. I'm not sure the Turkish referee agreed with that. She was talked out of it. What was that all about?
I don't know. She was a little, or maybe she just thought it took too long.
She took
to
like
get
a
the
deep
answer.
breath.
She did,
The ball thrown over the basket as the shot clock expired. And Long says, what offense was that? So 3.8 seconds or not, they didn't get anything. Spain, 50% so far, 33% is early, and Louder Gill checks in for Nichols. Tell you what, did you ever compete against Louder Gill?
I did.
She's a tough customer.
She was on their team last year. She's been on their team a few years now. I played against her also in the Spanish league. She is someone who really, we talked about Louder Nichols, how statistically the things that she does doesn't really come up. But how I could say the same for Louder Gill.
Palau got it to Endor, and Gill, look at that.
For example, she's
Offensive
just, she knows where to be, where to, and she's a fighter. She's someone you really love to have on your team.
Palau with the no-look pass. It ended up with Gill, and she didn't make the most of it. But nevertheless, Spain are going to retain possession after the Russia foul. And it is on Viedo. They're scrapping away inside. Palau's actually passed up a couple of shots. That point guard mentality.
Yeah, that's Palau's game.
There's the pass to the cutting Endor. Well spotted by Cruz. Leading it by 5 here early on against Russia. And the foul has been called. And you know what, Shona, this FIBA Women's EuroBasket has been so wide open, and I don't think that anything illustrates that aspect as you see Palau and Cruz checking out, Dominguez and Levine checking in. Nothing illustrates that more than Great Britain getting to the semifinals. I still can't believe I'm saying that.
Who would have bet? Other than, you know, the 12 players and the coaching staff on Great Britain, at the beginning of the tournament would have said, you know what, we could be playing in the semifinals of the EuroBasket.
And tough shot, not there. Vieira there for the putback, and she misses another one close to the basket, and their calls for coming over the back. And I think Vieira was going to be upset with herself.
Yeah, and it's her second, so I can't imagine Coach Lang leaving her in.
I think Vieira could have just come down with it. She kind of rushed the shot.
She's missed two shots, two easy shots here early in this game. And trust me when I say this, I've played against them enough times to know that you don't want Spain to get out to a quick lead early, because they do a very good job of sort of maintaining that lead. And it's very difficult to come back against a good team like Spain.
Jargai hits the jump shot right behind the stripe, and Olaf Lang has seen enough. He needs to change things up, maybe try to get Spain out of their rhythm. Again, look at this, the silky smooth shot from Jargai, one of the Spain players that's wearing those white leggings. And it is 12-5, and the alarm bell is starting to ring in Moscow.
Okay. Now in 5 on Jargai. Jargai, we are in the hedge. On the side with step-ups, we in show. Okay? Gil, off the ball. She doesn't do anything else. She just rebounds. So if you got to zone it up, and multiple people have to block her out, because sometimes the foreman has to help on the pick and roll. He's not in position.
Por aquí y aparición aquí y otra jugadora aquí. ¿De acuerdo? Hostia, pantalón de momento ya lo solucionaremos, pero es que no hacemos bien los bloqueos ni el timing, ¿vale? Entonces, como no funciona, lo quitamos, no pasa nada, ¿vale? Vamos a presionar todo el campo. Tú y tú, ¿de acuerdo? Aguantaos ya las manos. Si se pone en zona, 4 hay vueltas, ¿vale? 1, 2, 3. ¡España! No.
See Jargai with those 4 points. And obviously hugely talented player, played WNBA, she's played, in fact, I think she's played for Long's wife, Brundella, right? With Phoenix.
I know she was in Minnesota.
Maybe it's
also.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
But Jargai's going to sit down. She was at the EuroLeague Women Final 4 this year, playing for Mondello with Dinamo.
With her teammate
Cruz.
Anna Cruz.
Yep. The pass intercepted by Messina. And this is where you wonder about the experience factor that you were talking about. Sylvia Dominguez. Pass to Gil. Drives in, is blocked by Videva.
And I think that's great defense here by Videva.
There's indeed. The right thing, she's going for the left hand. And just... Levchenko's checked in, the point guard, feisty point guard for Russia. She's got the ball. Look at this matchup. This is interesting with her and Dominguez. Dominguez obviously played in Russia for Katerinburg, one of the real powerhouses of women's basketball. Nice drive by Russia's number 18, Anna Leshkovtseva. Good, the 3. And again, you get to that point, you got the full-court pressure now from Spain. You don't have Alba Turin's. Others step up, and Dominguez, you're talking about a player that's played at the highest level, really. How many Olympics has she played at? World Cups, the drive, and she commits the foul on Levchenko.
And, if you just out there by Levchenko to protect the ball, earn herself 2 shots at the stripe. But, you look at this Spanish team, and all these women have such experience.
They have an incredible CV, don't they?
Yeah,
The
they
resumes.
do. And then you kind of look at this Russian team, and yeah, you know, there's a couple people who have been around for a while. Then they have some young superstars in Musina, Videva, I would say. They're only 20 years old. But outside of that,
you got to grow up sometime, and this might be it. Dominguez on the baseline. And that time short. 6-point lead for Spain. Ilyakova hands it off to Messina. And Messina drives. Oh, that was an impressive drive with the left hand.
that was a great drive, a great finish by Messina. And good awareness, you know, she passed fake to Videva, Laura Nichols jumped, and I think that's, you know, there's no reason to be intimidated. Russia have nothing to lose, so why not just go out and try?
Ball, good defense by Russia, forcing the turnover. So they were reeling a little bit before the timeout. Spain have even scored since coming out of it, with Russia now trailing by just 4 points, and they have possession.
You know, it's funny because it feels like Spain should be up a lot more.
It really does, doesn't
yeah,
it?
but you know, if you didn't look at the shot clock, I would imagine Spain might be up 10 right now.
Messina showing her ball handling ability. And again, another drive, and heralded Anna Leshkovtseva, the 32-year-old shooting guard of Russia, going strong to the hole. And Lucas Mandela says we've got to change things up. Now if anybody knows these Russian players, he does, obviously, because he's coached in Russia.
Yeah, he has been in Russia for the last few years now, coaching Dynamo Kursk, like you mentioned. So, yeah, I mean, he knows these women. And you know what? This is the fifth game for Russia. So, Coach Lucas Mandela and his staff have had an opportunity.
No sigamos encima. Donde hay que llegar es aquí cuando sacan la bola.
4 second chance points for Spain.
Get open, and then when they're jammed, you got to lower it. Okay?
8 points in the paint for Russia.
Okay, so next chance, we're running.
Últimos segundos ya no. Vamos a jugar un poquito, no parados, pero un poquito más.
So that's the view from the spider cam. One of the amazing pieces of technology here at this women's EuroBasket. And you can see the impact by the veteran shooting guard, Leshkovtseva, coming out, scoring the 4 points. And under pressure, I might add.
And she's only, you know, she doesn't shoot a lot for them. She's only averaging just over 2 points a game for them. So
above her average.
Yeah, clearly she's very capable of scoring also.
Good trap by Russia, but then Messina reached in and committed the foul. Remember, Dominguez, as a youth player, was just such an outstanding talent, and then she graduated to the senior team. You know, they're so talented, Spain. They've had so many good players that maybe she hasn't gotten as much playing time that she would have gotten for a lot of national teams.
Yeah. Well, you know, last year at the World Cup, we were told that she did have a nagging injury that entire time. So I think that's why we saw her numbers dip off a little bit at that event. And, I mean, look at the point guards that have been around who are older than her. You have Laia Palau, who's still playing. You had, what was her name? Elisa Aguilar.
Yep.
Another famous Spanish point guard. I mean, it's tough in the point guard position.
Leshkovtseva again drives in. The shot clock winding down, and Laura Nichols, who's back in the game. Now look at how quickly Spain get into transition. From the corner, Uvina off, and that was a good box out by Gil. Leshkovtseva disagrees. She thinks that she was fouled. And Laura Nichols comes out with 1:39 remaining. I'm not sure if she's picked up an injury or if this is a tactical substitution. What did you think about that call? Much to do about nothing.
Wrong, in the wrong spot at the wrong time, maybe. And you know what? It's also a veteran move by Laudergill. Let's be honest.
Laudergill, one of these players that's overcome a torn ACL in her career. In the game now for Russia, number 23, Yulia Gladkova. And Laudergill scraps away and gets the rebound off her own miss.
Exactly. That's just the kind of player that she is.
Dominguez passes to Gill. Shot clock winding down. She has a rolling move into the lane. Doesn't finish. I think her value to Spain probably isn't so much what she can bring in terms of points, but here's Jargai. The steal and the fast break.
And if you watch closely, that steal was set up by Laudergill. She's the one who actually, you know, looked like she was playing off and then noticed that I think it was Musina was a little laxed with the ball and was able to get a finger on it.
Spain back up by 5. Leskova into Videva, fouled by Gill. I'm not sure that's a good foul, and I'll tell you why, because it puts her on the line. Why don't you just play defense?
Problem is, I think there you see the steal and fast break layup by Marta Chargai. You know, Laudergill got stuck behind Videva, so you were kind of going to give up 2 points anyway.
Well, it's a good foul. Look at that. She's missed the first one. She's a 75% shooter at the free throw line in this tournament. And again, she'll get another attempt here. But Spain, kind of, what would you describe it as? A comfortable 5-point lead right now? That's a 4-point lead.
We talked about this earlier. I feel like Spain
should be up by more.
Yeah, and the feeling is they are up by more.
Dominguez takes it to the rack, and Videva, I don't know. I think Dominguez should have made that. Videva was standing there, but and now the youngster travels, number 23, Gladkova. Well, I said youngster, 25-year-old. So Christina Lavina goes out. Cruz back in. This is one of her specialties, these end-of-quarter possessions for Ana Cruz.
She has some memorable last-second shots. Let's just leave it there.
Have you been on the receiving end of one of those?
Right. Sure, it was her. But
I know Turkey was at the Olympics, the quarterfinals in Rio. Here she is. She knifes her way into the lane, and Videva commits the foul. So my only question about this for Cruz is why does she do it with so much time left? Because now Russia are going to get the ball back. Or is it too early to be worrying about that?
Yeah, you're thinking Cruz probably should have taken a little bit more time off the clock, right? I also think it's a silly foul by Videva, though. Just a reach in. I mean,
some of the Spain.
Had she made that layup, it would have been an and one. It would have been a continuation.
Some of the Spanish fans, family/fans watching the proceedings. Tamara Abalde back in the national team this summer, first time in a long time. She checks into the game. 7.7 seconds remain. Musina brings it across midcourt. And she takes the bump, and she's going to get a three-point play opportunity. And I'm not sure that's what Coach Mondello had in mind when he brought Abalde in.
No, but I mean, look at that. That's a tough make by Musina. But you know, this is when it goes back to Ana Cruz. Maybe you shot a little bit too early. She did. I mean, Musina, this is your fourth player, your post player, bringing the ball up all the way for a layup.
I'm surprised in Cruz, really. But now Musina does not capitalize, but Videva with the rebound and blocked by Abalde, who I guess made up for that foul. And the teams retreat to the benches. Spain leading it 19-16 over Russia at the end of one.
We're going to quick look at the stats here. 38-45%. I mean, really, I think Russia's had good looks, and that's why they're only down 3 points. You know, 4 for 8 from free throws for Spain. Rather uncharacteristic from them.
So looking back at the highlights, Spain, I guess, have led by as many as 8 points in this game. And right now, Shona, they're just up by 3. So would you say that, in a sense, it's kind of an advantage for Russia? I mean, they've kind of missed an opportunity to put their pedal on the metal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's scary is that Russia's only down 3, and Videva has 1 point. So it's her teammates who are getting it done, and Russia have 5 turnovers, and they're still only down 3. You know, we talked earlier, we said this isn't maybe the Spanish team that we are used to seeing, that has been around. That being said, they're still incredibly talented and experienced. I mean, we saw Tamara Baldi check in, and I just quickly checked. I remember she did play in Olympics in 2008.
Yeah. Been a while. She played the 2009 EuroBasket as well in Riga. And the drive, and this is where I think perhaps it's a good time for Nichols to kind of assert herself down low, and she gets in there and grabs the rebound. Definitely finishing, though, some of their drives. Nichols makes the first one.
And typically, Russia is an incredibly good rebounding team. They average 46 rebounds a game, just under 15 offensive rebounds. 46 is leading this tournament in rebounding, so keep that in mind. And they've already given up 6 offensive rebounds to Spain. So, you know, I'm sure that was one of the game plans. Hey, you know what? Let's attack this good rebounding team and try and give ourselves second opportunities.
Baglova dribbles the ball off her leg. 6 turnovers by Russia already. Jargai's 2 if it goes. It does not. Shalova gets it to Videva. Watch this matchup. The double team comes. Videva passes it back to Baglova, who hits a 3. Well, if they're going to double team the big,
that's what's open. And you got to be able to knock down that shot. And we've seen, you know, Videva's made the right decisions out of being double teamed. Early, you know, missed layup, but right there, you got to be able to knock down the shot if your teammate's double teamed.
See the graphic, they're now 2 of 4 from 3-point range. Jargai comes down and rattles in a short jump shot. Kova getting quality minutes here, and held up by Jargai. That was the shot from Baglova. EuroBasket back in 2015. That was her first big tournament with Russia's senior team. She had actually played at the under-20 European Championship in 2007, so it took her a while to get a crack, so to speak. And Spain break. Palau sees an opening, goes in, the quick hands, and Palau says, there's the foul.
I didn't see a foul from this angle, but we're a little bit behind the play. Let's see here. She just lost the ball. Or did Baglova get a hand on it from behind?
No. I mean, if Baglova got anything, it was her hip. But I mean,
it looked like the ball went off her hands. And sure enough, off her knee.
Messina turns, challenged Endura.
I think Messina's started strong in this game for Russia, but maybe not
playing to her skill set there.
Yeah.
Palau hands it off to Jargai. Oh, don't get it. Does not get the three-point play opportunity. But she will nevertheless go to the line. So Messina's going to come out of the game. You see Feather over there. That's her second foul. Maiga, meanwhile, checked into the game for Messina. Jargai.
Maiga, another one of those skilled young post players for this Russian team. 23 years old, has EuroLeague women experience also.
Jargai, see her numbers thus far. In double digits now. She played in her first EuroBasket win back in 2011. That tough one where they finished 9th. That unusual finish for Spain. But she's experienced the pain of missing out. The big wins. Here is Fedeva taking on Nichols. Great job, Nichols. Nichols got the ball, then her attempt was blocked out of bounds. On the shot clock. 8 offensive rebounds for Spain, 3 for Russia.
And like I said, Russia normally averaged around 15 offensive rebound compared to a little over 11 for Spain.
Nice drive if we're going to get it, but for perhaps the 3rd time in the game, Spain missed a layup.
Yeah, and an open layup.
Fedeva for 3, in and out. Into the hands of Cruz, who just goes up the floor. Now Palau for 3, good! No, that was a 2. And timeout Long, whose team now trailing by 8 points, 27-19. Palau's usually the distributor, but this time she spots up deep. Perhaps made a small mistake by putting her foot on the line, but she'll take the 2, and Russia called timeout. Let's go down to the huddle and listen in to Coach Long.
It starts on defense because if they get every offensive rebound and Jargai gets every shot, gets already 10 points, we're not going to go anywhere. You've got to rebound. With Palau drives, she's looking for cutter, so you can't ball watch. Okay?
Trap, y luego,
saw the 8 assists for Spain.
Beglova y Silova.
And the shooting percentages.
O cualquier otra que esté en pista. ¿Vale? Entonces, si hacemos un 2 contra 1, se pone Beglova en el centro, pues sin dejar de ver a la otra, pero esa línea de pase que lleguemos. ¿De acuerdo? Y si no tenemos bonus, a por ella y falta y a tomar por culo la bicicleta. ¿Vale? Vamos alternando los sistemas contra individual. Ahora, en el siguiente, podemos hacer un uno abajo.
Vale.
Uno abajo para que Cruz se juegue en 1 contra 1 o cualquier otra situación. Pin down con Sargay. 1, 2, 3. Y continuación de pivots.
So Palau hitting the long jumper. I'm not sure why Mandela switched to English there at the end. I thought they all spoke Spanish.
You know, I think he was just trying to show off for us to,
Oh, right. He
to
knew we
show
were
that he has
listening.
improved his English over the years. And you know, we heard Coach Lang coming out of the talking in the timeout. It's all about rebounding. They've given Spain way too many opportunities with the offensive rebounding.
So that was a good drive, but now Russia's turn to miss a layup. Jarguy to Palau, like where she hit a jump shot a minute ago. Now into indoor and was maybe fortunate to earn a trip to the line there, but she missed the layup. It was kind of a twisting layup. Why did she take off like that? Yeah, she definitely got bumped as she went off.
Yeah, I mean, she was going to shoot a 360 layup anyway, so maybe just let that one go.
Well, free throw misses for Spain are preventing them from opening up an even bigger lead. Right now, Spain are 8 of 13. And they get 9 of 14. So about 63%. Piglova being guarded by the 40-year-old Palau, who looks like she's about 25. Vieru fouled, or gets it to Maiga, who is fouled by Nichols. So Nichols takes a seat. That's her second foul, and Gill checks back into the game. Laura Gill only has 1 foul, so Lucas Mandela perhaps trying to manage that situation. Piglova, well, nobody picks her up, and she goes to her right hand to score the layup. And good defense from number 18, Anna Leshkotseva, forcing the turnover. And there's Andrei Kirilenko. We talked about it, and to his left in the blue shirt there, Olga Ardashina, one of the all-time great Russian jump shooters.
There's been many great Russian jump shooter over the years.
Just as a reminder of how good they were when you see her sitting there. Here is Vieru missing, and Shalova can't quite corral it. And a little bit of frustration for Russia. Haven't seen Loganova come in yet. She'll probably get her chance at some point. You know, remembering as we saw Ardashina there, just remember how good she was at shooting the basketball, but she was so big as well. She could take it inside. There's so many great players.
Yeah, she was a really tall kind of free player.
Yeah.
Like you said, she was a great jump shooter. She kind of had this hang time jump shot type looking thing. She released the ball incredibly high. She was also a little taller for her position, and you couldn't stop her.
Well, Vieru commits the foul, number 3, so that is a blow for Russia, and Jarguy's going to inbound it. Foul, this one on Shalova.
And, you know, I like what Russia's doing. They're trying to play aggressive, and I do feel a couple calls maybe have not gone in their favor, because I think Spain is playing the exact same way that Russia is playing defensively, but Russia don't seem to be getting the calls that Spain are getting right now in the game.
Another miss at the line for Spain. They're now 9 of 15. I think anytime you dip below 60%, that's when you're having a bad day at the office at the free throw line. And right now, they're right at 60%. Free throws this quarter, however, Spain 5 of 7, and now make that 6 of 8. So the full court pressure, can they get it over in time? Biglova brings it up. Dominguez back in the game, hounding her. Now Maria Vadeva. She wants to turn to her left. They're not letting her. Now the ball goes off the hands of Maiga. Great hustle by Leshkotseva. And then Maiga, as she drove to the basket, got a foul.
I mean, that all started with the hustle and sticking to the play. You know, I think Maiga might have been fouled earlier by Gill when she was penetrating towards the basket. But Russia doesn't really mind. I mean, they get to go to the line for 2 shots, and they've had a hard time getting to the free throw line so far in this game.
Mondello chirping away, yelling at the ref. I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up a technical at some point.
It is funny, and you know,
could be imminent.
Knowing Spain as well as I do, and having played against them, followed them. Oh, nice defense by Maiga.
It was indeed, but then.
And then that happens. But this is where I think the inexperience of the Russian team comes out.
Trailing by 6. Forced the turnover, but then they turned it right back over. The pass. Sharguy comes out, misses the 3, but Indoor gets the offensive rebound. And that is the area where Spain are excelling. Almost half of their rebounds have come on the offensive glass. 10 of their 21 rebounds. Meanwhile, Russia with just 12 rebounds. That doesn't seem possible. Look at this.
You know, if Russia could just cut that offensive rebounding number down by half, it would maybe be a 2-3-point game right now.
Hill goes out for a second foul, and now Balde comes in. And the dunk. And a hold called on Indoor.
And, you know, I just mentioned a few foul calls ago that I thought, you know, Spain were maybe kind of getting a little lucky, and Russia are playing exactly how Spain are on defense, but they're getting called for it. And now, you know, you and I talked about this. Refs are usually equal and you know, tides have turned, and Russia have got a couple fouls, and they're converting.
And Vadeva, makes both free throws. Dominguez gets inside, lays it up, misses another layup, but Spain gets the offensive rebound.
Yeah. And it's funny because Russia's known for their rebound. So to be able to offensive rebound against a very good defensive rebounding team.
Well, Dominguez launches a 3 and another offensive rebound taken by Indoor. They pass it around. Ravina misses badly, follows it up again and scores, and persistence pays off for Spain. And they now, I believe, actually have more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. Biglova drives in, Vadeva catches it, turns, misses. Look at the hustle from Uvina. She gets it in bounds. Dominguez and Leshkotseva commits the foul. Spain were looking for an unsportsmanlike as Dominguez crossed midcourt, but the ruling was that she was playing the ball. Watch this. So it's great defense there by Indoor. Russia here right at the end of the first half as Dominguez takes it to a 9-point advantage. Nichols giving her a chance to sit on the bench, get some rest with 2 fouls. And the second is good as well from Dominguez. And Leshkotseva brings the ball up the floor. Offensive foul called on Maiga, trying to get position, but being defended by Abalde.
And, you know, 18 free throw attempts by Spain compared to only 9 for Russia. And really, it's that offensive rebounding. And we saw the hustle play a couple plays ago by Cristina Oviña to save the ball, and then they fouled Dominguez just after half. It's the hustle plays. It's kind of, you know, who wants it more? Who's going to sacrifice? Who's going to work that little bit harder?
Vina buries the 3. And boy, they're starting to turn it on. Spain up 13 points. Vadeva with just 3 points in the game. She gets the rebound, misses. Abalde comes in and gets the rebound and is fouled by Leshkotseva. And this last couple of minutes has really put Russia in a very difficult position now, down 13, and it's Abalde who is at the free throw line. And there's Jorge Garbajosa in the white t-shirt that we were talking about, this president of the Spanish Basketball Federation, one of the heroes of their World Cup win back in 2006. Boy, that is a beautiful free throw by Abalde. They need to get her on the free throw line. She makes the first one. That's money in the bank right there. Both free throws. Glova has to work against Dominguez, which is never an easy thing. Spain turning up the pressure on defense, trying to neck another blow, and they do. They get an interception. Uvina goes hard to the hole. And good job by Glova to get back and prevent the layup. But Spain still have it with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Cruz, and just goes right around Leshkotseva for the layup, and Spain are blowing it wide open.
But Leshkotseva can't foul because she already has 3 fouls, so she can't even really play defense aggressively. This is only the second quarter, and you have 3 fouls.
Messina, blocked by Abalde. Boy, you've got your backup pivot coming into the game, and Abalde, and I don't even think she's a true center. She's more of a power forward.
Yeah.
And blocking the shot. Just raised her arms up, didn't even jump.
Nope, kept her position, did a good job of forcing her baseline underneath the basket almost, so making it difficult for Messina.
Well, Russia have called timeout. And it'll be interesting to see what Long says here about this last 43.8 seconds. And also, let's listen in also to Coach Mondello.
Pero vamos a hacerlo bien, para cerrar aquí, y hay que dar balones. No, bloqueas tú. Vale, una cosa, hacemos ahora Minnesota, para Silvia, ¿vale?
10 assists for Spain, just 2 for Russia.
Vamos el bloqueo directo, ¿os acordáis? Haz tú aquí para un bloqueo para Cruz, ¿vale? De aquí Ubiña de base, juega, a ver, se queda sola, Y aquí sales y Silvia.
Then offensively, run 3 down. Don't force it if it's not there. Get out and get to the 1-5 pick and roll. Set it straight, roll right down. Let's go. Get it on.
Shona, that is an incredible stat. 13 offensive rebounds for Spain and 13 defense. They have crashed the offensive glass,
really,
and it has paid dividends.
You said it. It's the game changer. That's the reason why they're up and why they have this big advantage right now. 44 seconds left in the half. And this is like their offensive rebounding. They're doing that against the best rebounding team in this tournament. So that's even more impressive.
Well, they've got 12 second chance points. Russia have 0. Dominguez. To Cruz. Goes behind her back. Puts it up and makes it. And they have got the wind in their sails. Spain, here at the end of the first half, they've opened up a 19-point advantage. And they're starting to look pretty darn good. Here's Videva. The 3. Boy, that was needed. They're going to surround her down low. She can take him outside. Final seconds ticking off the clock. Dominguez goes under for the reverse. And Cruz rebounds it, and I suppose Spain will take it. 44 points in the first half against Russia. Videva did hit this three-pointer to cut it back to a 16-point deficit.
Saw Fierro there with 2 points, but she had to go to the bench for a good part of this half because she had 3 fouls, Jeff.
Well, it's, you know, those early opportunities, I think, missed by Russia, some layups. You don't want to say they have to play a perfect game to beat Spain, but you can't spurn chances. Spain just, and they've played beautifully. I mean, they've passed it, they've gotten after it defensively. And there's no secret. I mean, this team thrives with its pressure defense, whether it's in the half court or a little bit of full court. When they start playing defense, Oh, beautiful pass to Tanili from Zandalasini, taking the shot clock all the way down to the end.
Janovic step back three is good.
Up ahead it goes to Delar, and Belgium has stormed back to take the lead.
Well, back to their length. Little jump shot for two is good.
Hannah for three. Dato, what a play! Rebounded it and then passed in the same motion. (44-28) Spain in command against Russia at halftime. And Russia can get back into this thing, Shona, but you know they've got to make some drastic improvements with their rebounding. Especially they got to keep Spain off the offensive glass, and they got to figure out a way to attack that Spanish defense.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, that quarter for Spain was 25-12. There you see Beglova. She had that three after they trapped Videva. But really, the biggest concern and the number that you're looking at is the 14 offensive rebounds for Spain. And it's given them second chance points. They haven't shot, they've shot an okay percentage from two, but really it's just they've given themselves second chance opportunities with all those rebounding. And keep in mind, like I keep saying, they have these rebounds against the best defensive rebounding team in the tournament, Russia. So you said it, they can get back in it. It's actually rebounding and boxing out is a more simple thing to do than, you know, you have to knock down your shots and make threes. So that quarter was 25-12 for Spain, largely because of the second chance opportunities. Really, Russia they need to box out, they need to rebound defensively, play good defense, box out, rebound, and then go. And then play with some speed and movement on offense, because you saw them get frustrated. And I think the frustration on offense and the bad shot selection, was part of the frustration from giving up offensive rebounds on defense. And you know, you play good defense for 22 seconds, and then a team gets an offensive rebound. You play another good defense for 10 seconds, and then they get another offensive rebound, and then they score. It's incredibly deflating. So, and I think that translated to some of their offensive execution.
They're losing the rebounds 27-15, and they have 14 offensive rebounds to our 6. So if you want to go anywhere in this half, you got to clean up the ball.
So we should be coaching, because we can hear Long just basically repeat what we've been talking about with the rebounding.
1 and 2.
Y estoy al men-to-men, ¿eh? ¿Vale? Vale. Tándem, ¿eh? Tándem. 1, 2, 3. ¡España! Tú te pones en medio.
You see Garbajosa speaking with Kirilenko.
That's a pretty cool photo.
Yeah. Of course, you'll never forget how Andrei Kirilenko basically ruined a summer for Spain in 2007 when he led Russia to the EuroBasket title in Madrid in that final win over Spain. And that was the year that we didn't even know if Jorge Garbajosa would play because of injury, but he did. And it's great to see them still involved in basketball with their federations, well, as presidents. I mean, they're very charismatic individuals.
And the commitment that those, especially those two men, made to their national team program, I think they set the precedent of, you know what, it's more important to play for your national team and represent your country and try and get medals with your national team than other opportunities of making money. And they are two men who are perfect examples of that.
Well, some unhappy looks on the faces of the Russian fans, and they'll be hoping that there'll be a drastic improvement here. A dump down low goes right off the hands of Vadeva and out of bounds, and really that's a catch that she has to make.
Yeah, and she knows that. And you know what? I like that play that was run up out of... yeah, that's an easy 2 points that, you know, just went through her hands. But it was a good play call by Coach Legg to start the third quarter.
Has it, and that is worrying right there. A layup for Spain to start the second half. Now a turnover as well, and Palau goes up. Look at Spain, they're not waiting around. Indoor gets blocked, but fouled by Baglova.
I'm not sure if Palau was trying to alley-oop it off the backboard for Anna Cruz.
Yeah, watch this. She may have been, actually. I have to remember.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Indoor makes the first. You have to remember Vadeva's just 20 years of age and has basically kind of done things already, even at a younger age, that a lot of players don't even achieve. But she looks a little bit off the pace today against the Spain team.
But, you know, we saw it yesterday, 2 days ago, with Belgium. They're tired. Keep in mind, this Russian team came out of what?
The group of death.
Yes, the group of death. So they had 3 very tough games.
Wow. Our guy just took it away from Baglova, and then Baglova just took it right back, and it leads to Shalova, and that is the type of sequence that could possibly get Russia going.
But really, it starts with defense, then you're boxing out and your defensive rebounding, going down, giving yourself opportunities to come back and score on offense.
Saw Cruz look up at the shot clock. And I guess if you're Russia as well, you don't really look at the score, do you? You just play.
No, you know you're down. You know you're down big.
Nice drive by Lechenko.
But again, I said they need a top 6 finish. So whoever does lose this game, if you finish top 6 in this tournament, you're going to go on to that pre-Olympic qualification tournament to qualify for the 12 spots of the Olympics.
Well, that was a questionable shot by Messina. Not so much the miss, but the way she took it. They've got the momentum. Nobody's under the basket.
Again, Jeff,
this is everything. It's experience.
It's the shot selection of a 20-year-old playing against one of the best European teams.
No, playing against one of the best teams in the world.
Yes,
and
sorry.
Driving in and scoring that time was Messina. Foul, 2 more free throws coming for Spain. And as Russia look to make substitutions, just to underline that point, right now in the FIBA World Ranking presented by Nike, following the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup last year in Spain, they are number 2 in the world behind the USA. I think the USA probably far and away the best.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's anywhere close to it, in all honesty. Then you go down quite a ways to get to Russia.
I mean,
Russia's coming in at number 11. So
yeah. And you know, this not this Russian team, but Russia in 2017 didn't even make it to the quarterfinals. So, and you know, no matter what, they're going to have, win or lose today, they're going to have an opportunity to play another game and possibly go to the Olympic qualification tournament and then possibly the Olympics.
You saw in the graphic there, Spain 18 to 24 now from the free throw line, so that has gotten better. For them, up 75% after struggling in the first half. Probably was not the quarterfinal they would have liked to have played Russia. You know, they had to go through the qualification for the quarterfinal. They did, and they beat Italy. But, you know, Spain are not Italy.
No, yeah.
Spain with 10 steals, Russia with 2. Jargai off the front of the rim, and Gil challenges for the offensive rebound. Look at this. I'll have to look at that one in slow motion to see. I couldn't tell when they gave the ball to Spain, to Russia. So the three-point shooting is actually better for Russia. And then there's another shot. Maybe a little bit of contact wasn't called. Palau drives in, takes the contact, and finishes. I have to say there appeared maybe to have been some contact while Russia attacked the basket. And then there was a little bump there by Russia, and Palau finished strong and turns the trip to the line. Lead back to 19 points.
And, you know, I talked about you can't get down against a good team because they'll be able to weather the storms and then also pick it up another level. And then finally an offensive rebound for Russia. And, you know, when you are down, you got an offensive rebound because it's really the only way that you're going to get back in this game.
Ooh. Extra step possibly. Palau catches the ball, brings it across midcourt. It's in and was blocked by Maiga, I think. Shalova. And that's going to get her out of the game. Not taken at the right time. Shalova with the 1-on-1 there.
You see the shooting percentages, 39% compared to 30 for Russia.
And she's going up for Spain. But that drive improves, and perhaps Spain now on cruise control. Commits the foul, 2 shots. That almost seemed excessive by Nichols.
It's funny because then she kind of looked over at the ref like, what?
Say what? Here was Cruz scoring at the other end.
And you know, the advantage now for Spain with a lead like they have is they can start to go to their bench, and I think we'll see Lucas Mondelo do that, because keep in mind, tomorrow's going to be an off day for everyone, but then they're going to have, most likely, the winner for sure is going to have a game Saturday and then another game Sunday. So 2 games in a row against the best of the best, you know, the semifinals, and then either a 3rd place game or a gold medal game. So the advantage of being up is you can go to your bench, you can start to give your starters, your you know, the players who play significant minutes for you a little bit of a rest.
Dominguez. Gets it back. Another offensive rebound for Spain. Vina. Pass, and Gill finishes. Boy, it is relentless. I mean, this is a performance that is suggesting, I thought it was wide open, this tournament, coming into this game. Having seen this, it looks like Spain might just be the team to beat, and that's even without Alba Torrens.
And
long looks on the faces of the Deva and the Russians.
You and I, you know, we weren't in. We weren't in Riga, so we didn't do Spain's games earlier. But you know, we did watch highlights. We did follow when we could, and it seemed as though early in the tournament it wasn't the Spanish style of play and the Spanish team that we have seen in the past few years, especially. I think they're proving us wrong, and they did come here to win golds.
I think any tournament they go into, honestly, they're looking to get to the top of the podium, because that has been the level of success for them for several years. I mean, they have been semifinals, finals. You know, they always want to leave with a top 3 finish. Here is the miss, the rebound. Jargai couldn't quite control it. It goes out of bounds. And it's, I think we also knew that in Nice that we probably did not have the strongest group, even though we had some great games. But Spain and their toughest group, their toughest game, they played Great Britain. And we already know that Great Britain probably good value for their spot in the semifinals. The foul call. Russia has almost run out of ideas. Dominguez gets in, and a block has been called.
Spain are going to be shooting bonus the rest of the way. And, you know, we haven't even seen a lot of Corel Casas this tournament. She just checked in for Marta Jargai. And I remember you see her. Cristina Oviña came over and gave her a high five, and those 2 players, Casas and Oviña, at the World Cup, I thought did an absolute excellent job. They really, they're the reasons late in the 4th quarter Spain got that big win over Canada, where Canada were up, and then Spain just had the quarter of their lives. You know, they were big contributors in to that team that got bronze medal in last year's FIBA Women's World Cup.
Another turnover. I mean, I think the reality is, Shona, and you look at the USA and you look at these top teams, you can never have enough good players, because if you have great players trying to make it into that team, the competition for a spot on the team is huge, and then the competition just for playing time is huge.
We all can play basketball.
You know, you're playing behind the likes of a Anna Cruz, Marta Chargai, who, you know, Chargai started great for them in this game. 10 points pretty early. There you see the turnovers. I mean, when you're trying to say not a lot is going well for Russia.
Una cosa, vamos a hacer ahora L Spanish, ¿vale?
It does. Offensive rebounds, 17, second chance points, 16 for Spain.
Aquí, porque además aquí puedes en el cambio, si te cambian, puedes hacer
8
esto.
offensive rebounds for Russia.
Y ya te cambian,
Almost
te
twice
quedas
as
dentro.
many, or in
Pero
fact
por
more
delante.
than twice
Vale,
as many
bien.
offensive
Pero de todas
rebounds
maneras
for Spain.
salimos a hacer el bloqueo bien y luego hay el ciego.
You know,
Y
Palau
aquí tenemos un tirador,
was
uno
one of those players,
situación, ¿vale?
her impact is not ever seen in the stats. You know, she lived through all those years of Russian dominance, and Spain were just not quite good enough, really, to overcome them. And here now she is a part of a Spain team that has been really the most dominant team in Europe. Okay, they didn't win.
They had the hiccup in 2011.
Yeah, and then in 2015, Serbia won the title, but Spain returned to the top of the podium
in the Olympics in 2016.
Well, they got to, yeah, they finished runners up there, but then they won the EuroBasket 2 years ago. When Palau retired, and then they talked her into not retiring for good reason. And blocking foul called on Binga. Mike is going to come out. Back in is the veteran Vieru. Also, Loganova's come into the game, number 11. She actually played quite well. She was on the court when they made their run and took control. Kova.
And, you know, we saw those second chance points. Imagine Russia could have just cut that. They have 16, Spain does. If they could have cut it in half, this game would still be very much in reach for them.
Pass to Gill, not able to finish. Loganova with the rebound. Well, just under 12 minutes to go. Russia trailing by 19. It's never over till it's over. Good defense by Russia. Nowhere to pass the ball. Good defensive play by the player right there, Katarina Fedorenkova. Look at that, even the defense by Casas, who's checked into the game, forcing the turnover. That is making for a very long afternoon for Long in Russia. Six turnovers in this quarter alone for Russia. It's 2 for Spain.
And turnovers are typical of an inexperienced team.
Boy, Gill getting her share of shots up today. This is that. Lauda Gill, 1 of 7 from the floor. Couple of rebounds. Here's Loganova. And banks it in. She actually played quite well against Italy. As I said, you know, when they made their run, Shalova hit some big shots and she was on the court at that time. Good defense by Fedorenkova up against Palau. There's Casas. Play for Chopra. And the basket was good. Casas was with Chopin, right?
Yeah,
With
she
the
finished.
club.
She started the season in France with playing Corallo in Charleville, and then moved to Chopin before Christmas. So she played in a Final Four. EuroLeague Final Four.
Vieru, offensive rebound, put back, and she is fouled. So she has a chance for a three-point play.
You know, we saw the offensive rebound that put Vieru on the line and won. She's able to convert. And, you know, I talked about how strong Russia are at rebounding and at offensive rebounding. That Spain has only given up 6.7 offensive rebounds per game in this contest in this Women's EuroBasket 2019. So Spain obviously do a very good job of boxing out.
Well, Russia ended up coming back and at least tying that quarter 17 apiece. But they're still down 16 points with 10 minutes remaining.
Here, you know, a couple stats, 39%. It's not an amazing shooting percentage, but it's their rebounds. And look at that free throw shooting. 19 of 27, 27 attempts with 10 minutes left to play.
Renunciamos a tiros abiertos y nos complicamos la vida.
Well, Spain getting 13 points from Astu Indoor, 10 from Marta Jorgai, 8 from Laura Nichols, 7 apiece from Ana Cruz and Silvia Dominguez, 6 from Laia Palau, 5 from Cristina Ovina, 3 from Laura Gil. I mean, it's all about spreading. It doesn't matter who takes the shots. It doesn't matter. You know, the only thing that matters is that score up at the top, and they're thriving with their team play right now. Indoor actually just a rebound shy of a double-double right now, so she's had a statistically very impressive game.
And you know those stats are very typical Spain stats. No one on this team cares about their stats. They care about winning, and they'll do whatever is required.
Good anticipation, bad pass, and then the layup is missed. That pretty much does it all for Russia. Katerina Fedorenkova did a good job defensively. The offensive rebound, and that is just frustration to the extreme for Russia. Guarding Nichols. To Vieru, and they cut it back. Down to 14 points. It hasn't been down to 14 in the second half until now. 9 minutes remaining. Vieru with 7 points. Scrambling Spain, they have to put up a prayer. Small window of opportunity has opened for Russia, and Lucas Mandela is not going to waste any time. Yeah. He wants to sharpen the focus here of his players. Just remind them that there's still 8 minutes and 45 seconds still to be played.
Oye, el juego sin balón antes. El juego sin balón antes. Hostia, hemos arrancado tardísimo. Vale, intentemos dividir para una parada de tiro. Y hasta que no nos haga la ayuda. Cuando nos haga la ayuda, al pívot, y entonces tirador aquí. O habrá pase al tirador o habrá pase al tiro. O me la juego yo aquí para de tiro. Ellas están dando hostias, van a empujar, van a agarrar. Tías, tenemos que jugar con más. Vamos a jugar cuernos abajo, ¿vale? Acordarse el bloqueo al pívot, salida, balón. No esperemos las bolas, vayamos.
Okay. Cut here. One quick dribble, come around, turn the corner, okay? Emma for the 3, okay? Here, Katya. After that, Vero, back for Katya in case we can't get around, okay? Давай! Keep fighting!
Yeah, you saw some instructions from both coaches, but it was more the statistic leaders. I mean, Videva for Russia, 7.7 boards, but that's really a quiet night for her, and she hasn't played a whole lot of minutes because I don't think things are really going well for this Russian team right now. And a big part of that is Spain is good. There's no doubt about it. Spain is one of the best teams in the world, like you said, and they are playing like it today.
Well, you saw Lashenko there, over on the Russian bench getting emotional. I'm not sure if that was because she was pulled out. And just such a frustrating turnover for Russia. And there she is again getting...
I mean, she did get rocked by Lauda Nichols at half court, trying to pick up full court D, so she might still be shaking a little bit from that hit.
And he's out of bounds. Good defense there, great camera angle. Vieru, the effort is still there. It's like, come on, she says. We've still got a chance. Let's do this. Dominguez, bounce pass, Nichols. Oh, what a play by Spain. Double team comes.
Really, that's how Spain is. You think you're doing a good job on defense. You made a stop already, and then they've managed to find a way to score, this Spanish team.
Yakova from the left corner. We haven't said Videva in a while. She's getting up off the bench to come back into the game, but maybe it's going to be too late as Indoor makes them endure a little bit more pain with that three-pointer. Here's Vieru. Lead back to 19 points. And Spain looking to drop the hammer right now. Bounce pass to Nichols, and she's blocked. A foul called. Katerina Fedorenkova. Videva is going to come back into the game. This was the 3 from Indoor.
And she's almost had a quiet 16 points and 9 rebounds. Lucas Mandela.
Why was uno prato amigo to Cesar, his assistant coach, Cesar Zulprez, who probably deserves a lot of credit, as does Madeleine Urieta. His assistant coaches are important. Nichols makes 1 of 2, and Videva gets the rebound but has it taken away by the opportunistic Marta Jargai. Just feels like Videva is she's not going at 100% today, or we're not seeing the 100% Videva. We're seeing like the 65% Videva. Lashenko hustling down the court, almost a foul there of the unsportsmanlike variety. The foul called on Cruz, playing defense. And a foul called by the ref. 2 shots coming for Levchenko.
like
Dominguez
Sylvia,
took a little bit of punishment there, and then watches her go to the free throw line. Vieru, as we look at Levchenko taking those free throws, played for that title-winning Ekaterinburg team this year, the EuroLeague women, as did Videva. Indoor faked the handoff, took it right at Vieru and drew the foul. So Vieru has to go back out of the game, and Messina comes back in. That's 4 fouls. And the clock now is becoming the enemy of Russia. They've only got 6 minutes to go and not making any inroads.
And it's disappointing Vieru had to go to the bench for their 4th foul.
And Indoor scores again. And Spain just in command. 18 points for Indoor. Blues call for another foul out on the perimeter, this time on Cisco. That was a dump. Indoor. She just plays with so much gracefulness, doesn't she?
It's easy. Yeah.
Look at her there. She also comes up and makes plays on defense. Steals the ball and then can't control it. Now she's going to have to try to figure out how to get back on the court. Here she comes down the middle. Okay, she gets across. Look at this. Just couldn't quite control it after the steal.
She, I think she was already looked up, realized she was going to have a layup before kind of really securing the basketball.
Reaches in and gets knocked over by Nichols.
I think the foul went on Videva there.
Yeah, it was on Videva. So 5 minutes remaining in this quarterfinal, which has really been, Spain's been in control since the last couple of minutes of the first half, when they just kind of blew the game wide open. And Russia's bid to get back to the semifinals was basically derailed. Look at Spain, they're still hustling. And Ravina that time, just not sure about her finish, and that's probably what Mondello is thinking. Don't just fling it up there. Try to make it. And Baglova drives in and scores, so that's a 4-point swing, getting it back to 18 points. You got something to tell us?
No, just looking ahead, which it seems like Spain is going to win this game. They are going to have to go up against either the host country, Serbia, or Sweden.
Rattles out. Boy, it's going to be hopping tonight, isn't it, when Serbia comes?
We heard rumors that
it'll be a record crowd.
There might be a record crowd for a women's EuroBasket game. They're thinking in the numbers of 8,000 plus.
So, Messina driving in. David's, it's kind of, would you say it's kind of disappointing, the performance of David today?
Yeah, I mean, disappointing. Your 21-year-old is, 20-year-old, yeah, you're right. 20-year-old is leading your team in scoring in this tournament with 17 points a game. She's leading her team in rebounding with 9 rebounds a game. And she's 20 years old. So is she going to have a bad game? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, did it come at the worst time? probably. Would they have been here if she hadn't have done what she already did?
No.
And then you see there, Spain again with 2 more offensive rebounds. They're just attacking. I also think this is the best game Spain has played so far in this tournament. So they came up against a Spanish team that they were ready. And keep in mind, Spain has had a few days off where Russia had to get out of that group of death. And then they had to go on and beat Italy. And it was a close game. I mean, there was no resting. They had to play everyone. They had to play everyone strong to get here. So
it's interesting that you should say that, Shauna, because in the press conference of Hungary, after their loss to Great Britain, Dora Horthy suggested of Hungary maybe having that time off kind of knocked us out of our rhythm, because they had been playing, 3 games in 4 days, and they took a few days off.
You know, I thought about that. I think it can benefit teams, but it can also, like you said, take away from your rhythm. I really, we saw Hungary lose that game, their last pool game, to Italy. And I know that they were resting people. People weren't playing as many minutes. I feel like after that game, during that game, momentum started to change for Hungary. And, you almost in that situation, maybe they should have gone out and tried to go for the win and played the style and the normal rotations, but they didn't. And I understand why they didn't, 100%. But I'm thinking maybe they lost rhythm there.
I think so.
And it continued the last few days for practice.
Rakshani didn't play. Hatar didn't play as much. Maybe Norbert Sake would go back and look at that and think we should have kept our same team out there. But at the end of the day, you're tempted to rest players because in a tournament you play so many games. Look at that. Uvina, a chance to play, hustles, gets the steal, but she has got to work on her finishing.
I mean, Russia have had 4 hard games in 6 days. 5 in 7 days with this game.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do at this level.
No. Oh, look at Palau. Is that not the most beautiful thing you've seen today? How she just rolled to the basket. What an example. I can't believe she's 40. And once again, Uvina, with the defensive pressure, forces the turnover. And then she finds Indoor for the layup. The floodgates have well and truly opened.
And you know what's great about Laia Palau is the way she's playing right now, the way she played this year in Girona. She plays in Girona professionally. She might never retire. I mean, why would she?
Yeah, I mean,
I could see her doing another.
Look at this. Poetry in motion. Now, are they going to count that? Is that what they're saying?
It was close, that's for sure.
It's so funny. I mean, they've had so many, you had the Amaya Baldemoro years when Palau was there really for almost every one of those years as well. They had Montagnana, they had Lisa Aguilar, who's now here watching this game. But Palau was there, and yet she's still there. And really, she's playing as well now as she did, I remember, back at EuroBasket 2003. I mean, she just has not lost a step.
She really hasn't.
It is a remarkable. How do you do that as an athlete? Keep yourself in that type of shape to play in these types of games.
I mean, she takes care of herself. She takes care of her body.
Laura Gills fouled out the game, by the way. And Long is, probably already turned his attention to the next game, which is going to be a huge one for Russia.
It is. If they can win their next game, it means they will finish top 6 here at this tournament, and they will give themselves an opportunity to possibly play in Tokyo 2020.
Casas, Nichols. Aragones missing with the long 3. Vilaro Aragones, in fact. In Spain, when it's like that, it's the second name. It's not the very last one. It's the name, the name of the father, which is what you know them as. If that makes sense to you. And here is the 25-year-old Yulia Gladkova. So, disappointment for Russia. You know, they can. It's kind of hard to pick holes in Spain's performance today when they're winning by 23 points. I mean, they're deserving winners.
Absolutely.
And the E word, effort.
Yeah, every time Russia went on any kind of small run, Spain were just able to counter and play better. And like I said, I think this is the best game they've had.
Gladkova protesting, and then Lia Palau kind of nudges her as she walks past to go check on Nichols. Nichols holding her left ankle. Watch again. So she goes up.
Down shoot the feet.
I'd like to see that again. I mean, I think Gladkova might have a point. Didn't look like she undercut her.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times in this tournament. The refs, I think, are doing a very good job of, you protect the player, and you know it's an automatic foul if you don't let the player land where they jumped from on a shot.
Well, that could be a disaster right there. She's gotten hurt with the final minute of the game, knowing that the semifinal, the crucial semifinal coming up is might be robbed if you're best big anyway.
We saw the leading scores. Here we have the leading scores for Russia. I mean, it's just been a difficult night for Russia all around.
You don't get him, just make sure we're turning the corner, stagger away. Okay?
I think, you know, what's great about this Spanish team is that woman right there. 24 points, 12 rebounds, double-double.
Come on.
But even the woman beside her here, Marta Chargai, she had 10 points in the first half. She hasn't scored here in the second, but just to have that ability that, you know, 10 early points from Marta Chargai opened up more scoring opportunities for Astuendo. Defensively, you can't stop everyone. And when you have the ability to score at many different positions like Spain does, that's why players are able to step up and have big games.
Grande, papi. Estamos en semis, ¿no? De puta madre.
Well, I think she's going to be okay. Chargai makes the first free throw. Coming in from Nichols. Second one stays out. Loganova with the rebound. So the final 50 seconds ticking off the clock here in Belgrade of the second quarter final. We already saw Great Britain continue their magical journey with a win over Hungary, a thrilling win to get to the semifinals. And now an offensive foul has given the ball back to Spain, who are closing in on their place in the semifinals.
And we do know that Russia will play the loser of the Serbia-Sweden game later tonight. And then thus Hungary will play the loser of the France-Belgium game. That will be Saturday for that all-important sixth-place finish at this tournament.
A little bit of miscommunication there. Baldy trying to hand it to Chargai, and it just bounced off her head. Has it, passes it back outside. Spain running one last play. Pass to Pina, blocked by Loganova. And the ball goes off of her, so 0.3 seconds remains. And here we go, folks. Just an absolute thrashing. Spain win it 78-54 over Russia to march to the semifinals of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019.
And you know what I love about this Spanish team is they are so excited, and they're always excited, and they never just expect to win. You know, it's still something big for them. How they celebrate, how they, you know, here we get to see them.
I know they'll be playing for a medal spot on the podium. They'll either be playing for first place or they'll be playing for third place. But what they also know is that they'll be going at least to a FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournament next year. And here are the final numbers shown up.
I mean, they didn't shoot well, but they rebounded well for Spain. Russia, they just had a hard time putting it. If I had to be nitpicky, look at that, 22 offensive rebounds compared to just 9. They almost had more offensive rebounds than Russia had rebounds. They forced Russia into 23 turnovers compared to only 11 for them. If I had to be nitpicky about this performance of Spain, which was incredibly good, I would say it's their free throw shooting. You know, they really could have put this game away earlier had they knocked the ball down slightly better from the free throw line. I mean, they were 23 of 33, just under 70%. Here we have our leaders. Astuendor, double-double, 24 points, 12 rebounds. Marta Chargai, 4 steals. And she started early knocking down her shots, and then, you know, they didn't really need to go to her. But she contributed in other ways, and you saw that with her 4 steals. So there's not a lot of bad things you can say about the Spanish team. I was a little worried about them seeing their performances early in this tournament, but they proved me wrong. I think they proved a lot of people wrong. Some people questioned what they would look like without Alba Torrens. To me, that was a gold medal performance, and they are a very scary team, like they often are. But they just proved that, you know, they came here to defend their title that they won in 2017 EuroBasket Women. So they're good. They're scary. They can score from everywhere. They're, you know, they play the typical Spanish style that we're used to seeing, and it really affected, I would say, an inexperienced, younger Russian team tonight.
Well, you know, you feel for Russia, but I think that they'll get it back eventually. They've got to work hard, though. There's no question. I think that the game right now is being played at a higher level by Spain, and you know the intensity and the passion and the commitment that you see and the celebrations that you see from Spain. It never gets old, does it, for them? I mean, every time they get into a semifinal, they are like over the moon, like it's the first time it's ever happened. And you have to maintain that hunger, don't you?
That's how much passion they have to play for their country and to, you know, bring home trophies for their country. They're not satisfied without playing for a medal. And that's why you see the excitement from the coaching staff, from the players.
So a long day at the office for Olaf Long, but one of the challenges of a coach, you got to be able to put it behind you and get your team prepared to play the next game.
This was a very, I think, very good learning experience for a Russian team. They do have some veterans and some leaders on the team, but for the most part, they're superstars, and the girls who are going to be around for a long time, they're young, and it will be an enormous learning experience for them. And I think they'll come back stronger. And, you know, I mentioned, I think this Russian team in 3-4 years from now are going to be very scary.
Well, maybe we just watched the favorites of this women's EuroBasket, Spain. Only time will tell, and they can get back to the podium for the second consecutive women's EuroBasket. We've got more coming our way today, rather. France, Belgium will be coming up next, followed by Serbia, Sweden at the end. You see that Great Britain won earlier today, 62-59, and now Spain have moved into the winner's circle and into the semifinals with a 78-54 triumph over Russia. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as usual, we'll be right back at you for the next game. Make sure you're in seats for the opening tip. Thanks.